Monday night. So all of our Behind the Turnbuckle universe fans, they are ready. They are ready to discuss everything pro wrestling. Welcome in to The Last Word. We've got a lot of different content. And I tell you what, you guys have been amazing. We've added about 2,000 or 3,000 subs to our YouTube page, and we are continuing to churn out content. But we are live every single Monday night, right around 10 p.m. Eastern time after Raw. Normally a live Raw, but not tonight. We got a little bit of housekeeping to handle, but before I do that, let's bring in my partner as he's with me all the time. Oh, combined, we're presented by Mybookie.ag. Over 45 years inside of the WWE. I am the coach. He is Big Tommy C. Tommy, what's good, man?
What's happening, Coach? Let's get right into it, man. We got a lot to talk about.
You're damn right, and Jason says it right there. Now, before we get into what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, we got AEW to talk about. We've got WWE, and it feels weird when you have a Raw that's taped, because I almost feel like I didn't quite want to watch all of it. The Yankees were on. You got a good Monday Night Football game. But, Tommy, got to tell everybody we've got a lot of exciting things happening. First and foremost, our sponsors are amazing in Mybookie.ag. Don't forget, new customers, use that promo code BTT, and we'll give you up to 100%. $1,000 free right back at you. But Tommy, you know, we got our boy Todd Grisham, best friend for 23 years. Could not be more proud of him. I had so many people tweet me today, said, "Hey, Coach, did I miss it? Did I miss it?" I said, whoa. No, we're not till the last word tonight. So producer, man, put this together. But, man, if you guys have not heard this, Undisputed. It's the new boxing game, first one in 13 years to come out. Our boy Grisham is the voice of it. But Tommy, I'm going to take it a step further. Watch this.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Todd Grisham, coming to you from Saudi Arabia, getting ready to broadcast another massive boxing event live on DAZN. I want to tell you something right now. I'm a part of the crew. I'm a crew member. In fact, I'm an OG crew member. I've been rolling with Coach since the WWE days, 2004, 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, OG style. And here's what I want to tell you. In the crew, you support Coach. Coach supports you. You support me. That's how we roll. And I've got a brand new boxing video game out now on Xbox and PS5. It's called Undisputed. It's the greatest boxing video game of all time. I'm the voice of it. But that's not why it's great. I mean, it's one of the reasons. Let's be honest about it. The gameplay, the graphics, it's sick. Check it out. In fact, I'm sending Coach several free codes to give out on all the brands to the crew members. So check it out. Thanks for your support and keep rolling with the crew, baby.
You're damn right. So, Tommy, look at this. The link is in the chat as well. But, people, there's the QR code. It doesn't cost you anything. And we're going to be giving away codes here. Tommy, I talked to the bosses. I may be able to get a couple more. I don't know. We'll see how the reaction is to it. But are you kidding me? One for PS5, one for Xbox. And no, Tommy, you cannot get a free code. Don't even ask me. Don't even ask me. I knew you were going to ask. I knew you were. You're like, out there going, can I get that QR code real quick?
Yeah, give me that.
How cool is that, though? That Grish is
That's
taking care
really
of
cool.
our people.
And taking care of our people. And we all both know Grish for a very long time. And he's a great guy. And I'm sure he did a phenomenal job on that video game.
You know, he's the ultimate hustler. You know, he always has been. And when they called him 5 years ago, it's amazing how long these games take to make. And 5 years ago, they called him. It's a company out of England in the UK, which just happens to be where the WWE is on tour right now. And Todd turned it into, hey, can you do some lines for a new video game, into now he's an executive for the entire company.
Wow.
Exactly. And he's the voice of boxing. Love having him, best friend. We want you guys to have the video game. So go ahead. I think we're going to announce it next Monday for the winner here. Then Coach and Bro, me and Vince Russo. We've got a lot to talk about with Vince tonight, too. We'll do a giveaway on Thursday. So you've come to the right place. And there is the link. It's in the chat right now. You can click right there and enter and get all of the details. All right, Tommy. Not so much on Raw tonight, because like they said in the chat, it was kind of like a 5 out of 10. You know, it felt like they threw it together and then they had to go on this tour. Did you feel like they kind of felt like that to me? Did it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it felt like it just moseyed along. They hit the points they had to hit with the Cody Gunther interview, because they're going to be at Crown Jewel for the first Crown Jewel title. Liv came up tonight with Tiffany, was there, a little crossover. for Nia Jax came into the main event. Rhea Ripley was involved. So, and then we had Miz and R-Truth. It just didn't flow the way I liked it, wanted it to flow like last week. And you could always tell it's a canned show. When they did the pre-tape backstage with Rollins and Adam Pearce, and you hear the crowd going, like, come on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just, I don't know.
Very few times did we ever do a tape show. We did one at Christmas time. Vince hated tape shows, and this is exactly the reason for it. And the only time, I mean, we still had to travel at Christmas 52 weeks a year, but they tape it like if Christmas was on Monday, we would tape it like Friday, Saturday, and Vince despised it because the crowd understood, they knew it, and they were not into it. And I took a few notes down, Tommy. The one thing I know, and the positive that I'll take out of it, is you and I are making moves, big boy. Me and you are making moves. They are listening to us in the chat. Do you not agree that they're watching Behind the Turnbuckle, The Last Word, and guess who we're seeing all over both shows now? Is Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton not SmackDown talent? Are they not? Mm-hmm. Is Cody Rhodes not a SmackDown talent? He is.
What about Jimmy?
Jimmy, is he not a SmackDown talent? You're damn right he is. And they're showing up on Raw. Tommy, this is going to make the show so much better if they stick to it, because I can watch Jimmy and Jay twice a week. Yep. I'm okay with that, aren't you?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep, absolutely. They're creating a storyline there with them. You saw the backstage pre-tape. You saw there's heat between the both of them. Where's it going to go from here? And this is what I like. I like storytelling. Just like the end of SmackDown. The same thing with Roman. We need help. Roman in the ring. Like, what's going to happen next? I like that now. I'm interested.
I'm
glad I'm interested.
Rich says a lot of crossover as of late. Rich, you're absolutely right. I've never understood, and we used to bitch about this all the time, because you got to wait. If you've got a star, Tommy, and you've got a guy like Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes, why do I need to wait 7 days to see them? Now, I know what Triple H and them are probably saying is, oh, it's special. You only see them on Friday night. But that's not what wrestling fans want. They watch a show every single week because they're degenerates in the best possible way. So, Tommy, you think fans don't want to see Cody twice a week, or Roman, or whoever? It doesn't have to be every week, but it can be the ability to do it is what I want. That's what I want.
Coach, I want it too. And what I like, it's chaos wrestling. That's what I like. I want a little chaos. I want to know that I'm not going to see Cody this week on Raw or SmackDown, and he's going to come over on Raw on Monday night. I mean, I want that. I want Drew to go over to SmackDown and say, I'm here. I don't care what you say about Raw. I don't care about this draft. I'm here to win the title. I don't care if it's U.S. title, whatever the title is. I want to fight somebody now, or come back on Raw and do the same thing. Mm-hmm. I want to see stuff like that. It makes you interested in every week.
It does. Jordan says they will probably stop the cross appearance after the Crown Jewel event. I don't have an issue with them creating this Crown Jewel. What is it, a championship or something like that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Crown Jewel championship.
So I do the PFL, and the PFL is going to be in Saudi Arabia this Saturday. I just did a betting show today that airs tomorrow or the next day, and they're doing a Crown Jewel Super Fight Championship. Exactly what the WWE is doing. I mean, it puts a little emphasis. It gives you a different title that is only going to be defended in Saudi Arabia, right? So I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. I really don't.
Not when they're paying a lot of money to me and they say, hey, can we have our own championship? Sure, why not?
Hell yeah, you can.
It's once a year. I don't give a shit as long as you keep paying us $10 million every time we go over there.
This is a true story. I don't know if people in the chat watching right now have heard me tell this before, but when they started this deal, it was supposed to be $10 million a show plus expenses. And there were some issues at the beginning, But Tommy, the Saudi Arabia guys, they love stars. Whether it's golf, whether it's give me that 2-shot, producer man. I want to see Tommy when I'm talking. Damn it. I need to see you, Tommy. I need you to keep my energy up. And producer man, I didn't mean to swear at you, producer man. Please accept my apologies. I see him laughing right now. He's good. So it's supposed to be $10 million plus expenses, right? And they wanted Hulk Hogan. And they love nostalgia. They love the big stars. And so they wanted Hulk Hogan, but this is right after his whole, saying the whole racist stuff. And it infuriated us because this was right when I came back. And I was in the room. And they wanted to pay him $2 million to come for one of the first shows, which was going to be way more than any other talent was going to have. And Vince, because it was a 10-year deal, 2 shows a year, what's that, 20 shows, $200 million?
Yeah.
He was not right or wrong, and I say wrong, was not going to let that stand in the way of a $200 million deal, right? So he had Hulk Hogan come in and apologize to the entire room, all the white talent, all the black talent. And I remember all the black talent, we were kind of sitting in the same area, and he blamed it on alcohol, and he blamed it on drinking. And I'm sitting there going, So this is what's going to happen? Is this dude gets to blame drinking for saying the N-word 8,000 times on a video, and then he's going to get $2 million for one show, one trip? That's what happened. And now look, he's talking at the Republican National. He's like Teflon. There's nothing that can stop this guy. What are we doing?
It's unbelievable, man.
It really is.
He kowtowed to the Saudis, man, because they bring up they brought the big money, man, and it's unbelievable.
A lot of that is changing now because they want to own everything in boxing. They want to buy up all the boxers so you can have the best against the best. But I think they're realizing now, even though you got billions upon billions upon billions in the bank, you can't just pay it out without something coming back to you. Right. And if you're paying $200 million. A business decision is you want to get $200 million back. You know what I mean? And so that's not happening now in any sport. So they've got to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Robbie says, man, Titus O'Neil looked like he wanted nothing to do with him during the opening of WrestleMania in Tampa. Robbie, you're talking about Hulk Hogan? Because if that's what you're talking about, of course, he's one of the black talent that was there when all that happened. I'm sure that's who he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just Hulkamania lives forever. Nate, unfortunately, you are right. I've always liked Hulk. He's always been good to me. But if you watch the documentary on Vince and what we know and what's we're not talking about anything, Tommy, that's not public knowledge. It's out there.
Right.
He did it, right? But he's always been, what's the most polite way to say this? Always been about himself. That's it, Tommy. He's always been about himself. And that's all he cares about. Period.
Yep.
End of story. And he's now, 68, 69?
Yeah, he's probably closer to 70, I bet. Yeah.
User says, I like Hulk Hogan, the character, but I don't like Terry. That's fair. It really, really is. That's fair. Didn't mean to get off on a tangent, Tommy, there, but Saudi Arabia is kind of the center of the fight universe now. Grisham was just there. We saw him in the video. PFL. I feel like I need to take on a bigger role in the PFL, Tommy. Do you think, can we start doing MMA on Behind the Turnbuckle? Could we do that?
Sure.
I think we need to. I think we need to.
Yep.
The other thing, Tommy, is I heard through the grapevine that they watched Tommy's Beef. Do you know how I know that?
Yeah.
The Triple H and the executive.
Oh, yeah.
Did you all in the chat, did you guys see Tommy's Beef? It's my new favorite segment. I can't wait for it to come. I'm like waiting. This week you had an issue with Wyatt 6. Like, where are they?
Where are they?
Guess what happened tonight? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
What did we see tonight, Tommy? What did we see?
We saw that graphic come up again, the hashtag Q code there in the Miz R-Truth match. And we saw it come up. So let's get creative again and do the same thing we did 4 months ago, like I said in my beef. Boy, they're right on it. Those Seinfeld writers or wherever they came from, those 22-year-olds were full of piss and vinegar. Hey, I got an idea. You want to bring them back and make them relevant again? Let's put the graphic and hash up every other segment.
AK says, not a fan of the Wyatt Six. Well, the tough thing is, and I was talking with Vince Russo, Tommy, about this, and this is the tough part about everybody thinking that they could be a writer. If you're not on top of your game, and this is why I've always said the writers have no life if you work for the WWE.
You're right.
The pressure of writing a good show every single week is immense.
Yep.
And they write it, throw it away, write it, throw it away. I've seen them many, many times. Haven't you, Tommy?
Yeah.
That they would write an entire show from Tuesday to Saturday. Vince would rip it up. They would have an 8-hour phone call, conference call on a Saturday. Tommy, if I was part of, I would lose my mind.
Yep.
If I can't watch college football, and I'm sitting there on a conference call, listening to Vince going, "Hey pal, segment 2, on that intro." Are you kidding me right now? Yeah. And that's what they live through.
They live through it, Coach. Every weekend. I remember I used to go to the gym every Saturday, right? And I used to see Mike there. That was Vince's trainer. And he always had to wait for Vince to get there, right? So I say, hey, where's Vince? Oh, he's coming. He'll be here. You know, Vince is always fashionably late. Well, one day he's like, man, I've been waiting here over 3 hours. I got there like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, he's up, the old man, he's up in his office and he's having a call with the writers going over Raw. So it's a proof fact on Saturday. Those guys were 3-4 hours in, man, and never having any time for themselves. And then he would change shit up on the dime, man. It was crazy. I don't know how many TVs we went to where we find out when we get there that they're rewriting the show right there. And we get our call time, as you know, it's like 9 a.m. We get there for Raw, and now we got to wait for Vince to write the show with the writers because he didn't like the way it was done. And that puts everybody else behind, as you know.
User says these stories they did give us with the Wyatt Six wasn't that good to begin with. Well, it wasn't good because it wasn't consistent. And they didn't give us enough of the spooky stuff, Tommy. Right, they gave us 1 week, right? And then everybody's beat up, and then all of a sudden we see the regular dudes. And you pointed it out first. You said they're bumping for everybody, right?
They're bumping for everybody. There's no, like, not getting up and standing up and laughing in his face. Like, you know, you made them superhuman in the vignettes. You made them do some weird shit. You made them see Uncle Howdy, and then we saw Bo Dallas. Oh, my God, is it the same person? I don't know. I have no idea, right? You made that, and then they became mortals in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can't figure out.
Tommy, I think they don't know, and I've learned so much from doing the Coach and Bro show with Vince Russo, is if you stick to writing for reality or suspend reality, you cannot go wrong. But they can't figure that out. And then 1 week they're like, man, we got to write this in. And then they forget because then they go, I've got Crown Jewel coming up. So I got to make sure Liv and Rhea, we get to theirs. And then, here comes Nia. And then see how easy it is to forget about a storyline that you have going with 5, 6 people. And that's the hard thing. That's the hard thing. And I don't know if they'll ever be good enough. Because, Tommy, they'll never go to every other week or 3 weeks or seasons. That'll never happen. If they took a month or two off, Tommy, you could actually write for 5, 6, 7, or 8 weeks and be ready when you came back. Yep. They'll never do that because that's not what Vince wanted. Triple H wasn't, you know? So, what'd you make of Miz and R-Truth as part of that Wyatt Six? You think Miz will be able to carry that side of it?
I don't know. Then we saw Final Testament come out too, so I don't know where everybody is. And Final Testament made Miz lose the match. He distracted them, and the R-Truth did a roll up 1, 2, 3, and then he left the ring, and then the AOP came and they brought R-Truth back in, and then Miz powdered on R-Truth. So, and during that match, we saw the Wyatt Six. So, where are they going with any of this? And they didn't listen to what I said because. You know, he came in as happy-go-lucky against singing and everything. He hugged Miz after the match. And I didn't want to see that side of R-Truth. I wanted to see the serious side. But I guess they see it differently, made him still goofy. He won the match and then getting his ass kicked afterwards. So where's it go from there, Coach?
I would love some creative liberties. And we've seen the goofy, funny R-Truth long enough. It's been a couple of years. So I would love to see him get serious when it matters, maybe win one of the titles at some point. And then he could say, and this is how you get deeper and you have layers with a character, and it's not just surface level. He can say, listen, when I need to be, and I need to go up against a great Intercontinental Champion like The Miz, I can be serious. When I want to goof around, I can do that too. When I want to chase down Peter Rosenberg for the hardcore title or 24, I can do that. But Tommy, if you don't do that, then how does a character get anywhere? And also, how do you keep them on TV 52 weeks a year if you're not trying to do something different?
You're absolutely correct. It doesn't move his career one iota. He's goofy, R-Truth. Oh, he's funny. Oh, he says that's Judgment Day, or that's DX over there. Like, I'm tired of it, dude. He's a good wrestler. He should be a serious guy for a little bit. Now he takes it up. He takes his up to the next level of what R-Truth. There's layers, like you say, in your character. Now, this is a different layer for R-Truth, and we should see it now, but we're not seeing it now. He came in singing. He hugged Miz afterwards, after he won the match, said something stupid, but it doesn't move his career at all. He just becomes the Joker of WWE, and he's a great guy. He's a smart guy. He can work in the ring. He can cut a promo, but he's just goofy Joker R-Truth, and I don't want to see it.
User 279 says, add some depth to Truth's character. I think that's where we put the pin in it right there. That's what they need to do. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't think that they watch some of these shows, if you don't think that they listen to some people who have some credibility, even though they won't admit to it, I promise you that they do. You all are watching The Last Word with Big Tommy C and the coach, part of the Behind the Turnbuckle universe. We drop interviews from time to time. Turn on your notifications. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Also, every Friday, we're changing the game. We drop episodes, but they're not an hour. They're like 10 to 15 minutes, and they're one topic. This week, the topic, Tommy, will be, I don't know, maybe somebody comes back at WrestleMania. We may talk about it right here, but you definitely want to tune in for that. Turn on those notifications. Nate G says, all right, so that's enough. My gut tells me, Tommy, nothing happened on Raw tonight. They're just trying to get the crowd. So can we move on to something else?
Yes.
We got some more serious stuff to talk about. And I'm dead serious with Jey Uso, because we talked about it on Coach and Bro, and I want to get your reaction to it, Tommy. Because Rikishi, who had his own podcast. So Jey Uso wins the Intercontinental Championship. We loved it. He was emotional in the moment. He was emotional with Jackie Redmond backstage. And 17 years of being a tag team champ and finally getting to the top of the mountain. I understand it. I get it. Then a couple of days later, he starts out Raw, and he's very emotional then. Well, Vince Russo, my partner on another show, he's been here on with us, he didn't like it. And he called the Intercontinental Championship a prop, which, let's be honest, Tommy, I'm a former tag team champion of the world. They are props. They're not real. There's a reason to get you to where they need to go. So Rikishi was pissed. And on his podcast, he says, he should take my name and my son's name out of his mouth. F-bombed him, told him to shut the F up. I mean, it's all over social media today. And Vince didn't back down. He said, I'm not insulting Jey. I'm insulting the writers who told him to be emotional 48 hours later or 72 hours later. And on some levels, I agree with him. I do understand the emotion, though, Tommy, of working that hard by himself without Jimmy there, and now Jimmy's back. But the fact that Rikishi got so upset, I didn't quite understand that, although he's a father. What do you make of the story I just told you? Where would you fall on the emotion, not the night of?
Look, we all know Rikishi, right? Great superstar. He works the business. I think he's just working everybody just to get clicks for people to find out what's going on with him. And he's coming out with some crazy crap. Remember, he was talking about Jimmy Uso being sick and all this, and please pray for him. Well, there was nothing wrong with Jimmy Uso. We saw him, right? He never talked about one thing there. He was just away for 6 months. So I think this is all about social media, Coach. I think he likes to get the dander of Vince Russo up. Keep your effing name out of my mouth. That makes people watch and click on and wait. What's Rikishi going to say now? He's a great guy, but he knows how to work the system. So that's what I think he's doing, Coach.
I think you are spot on. I've never seen Rikishi, and I've been around him a million times in my career. I've never seen him fired up. I've never seen him angry. He understands the business is what we call in the business a work. And Vince Russo, before I got to know him the last few months, I would have been like, okay, maybe, but he just shoots straight.
Oh yeah,
His brands are to react to what's going on the show. And Tommy, he
right.
said he never wrote a single opening segment, which is what the Jey Uso segment was, that did not have action in it. And I said, what if we would have done this? He comes out during the during the entrance, Michael Cole or Tessitore, then tosses to the emotion of the night when it actually happened, when the tears were real, when they were yeeting all together, and then they get back and then they have a fight or whatever. That could have killed two birds with one stone. But the fact that I'm so glad you brought up the Jimmy Uso stuff with Rikishi. I'm so glad because it was just for clicks. And they know the more views they get, the more money they make on their podcast.
That's
so
right.
I think this is fake outrage.
Yep.
I really, really do. I think
Where we don't work like that. We don't work like that, folks.
No,
we
we're just going to shoot straight with you. Yeah.
And we're shooting straight. And I love Rikishi. I know Rikishi really well, man. I used to see him every week. Nice guy, talk to him. But he's working the system, Coach. That's what he's doing, man.
He really is.
Guarantee it.
So let's stay with the family because Jimmy is now back. And Jimmy, and this was where the Paul Heyman writing got really good with the Cody and Roman pre-tape, is that Roman says, I'm all alone. I've got nobody left in my corner. I got nobody acknowledging me. And then who shows up at Bad Blood? But Jimmy Uso. And so now and I think they're doing a good job of listening to Nat sound. And guys are talking where they're not on the microphone. And I think it's brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
And so now it's Jimmy, Roman against the world. So now it's one by one. And I think what we're going to do, Tommy, is start to build the Survivor Series teams over the course of the next 4 weeks. Don't you?
I think that's going to happen most definitely, Coach, especially when you saw the end of SmackDown there and the off mic coming in and Oos, man, we need help. And that's the last thing you heard. And it was beautiful cutaway. The last thing you heard before they cut away and with the copyright and everything, and said good night. It was perfect. And that's the question. Who's going to help? Because as we saw on Raw tonight, it didn't look like Jay is on his way anytime soon. So, and that's how you continue the storyline. You move it up, you move it another week. They left it as a whodunit, like on Raw. On SmackDown, they left it as we need help. Where's it going to come from?
All right, put in it real quick because we got nonsense. He's throwing a nice little tip at us. We've got to learn. This is something new for us. Like, this is all new for us, but we do appreciate it. And if you do that, we'll certainly read it next on the show. He says, all due respect, total opposite reaction to Russo saying that. He needs the attention for more than Rikishi does, my opinion. Saying things to get a reaction is for more on brand for Russo. Either way, happy for your success. Thank you, Nonsense, very much, and thank you for the tip in the chat. That's a good talking point, Tommy.
Yeah,
I disagree only because I'm with Vince all the time now, and I bring him on my betting show, Driving the Line. And if there's one thing that he doesn't want, Tommy, he didn't even see Rikishi's reaction until we played it for him on the show. He didn't even know about it. And I just think that he is. You guys have got to remember, he was in the room writing Raw at their biggest moments, 10 million viewers. He was the reason for that. So from a writer's perspective, and the fact, Tommy, that he's now watching 1.5 million, 1.6 million, and they hide behind how much money they're going to make, I think it frustrates Vince a lot. But I don't think he says it for clicks. He has 6 or 7 different shows. He has one with me. I just think he's honest. And a lot of times when the product isn't good, the honesty is looked at as negative.
He's brutally honest. And I'm telling you right now, folks, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He says what he wants, when he wants. He put his time in. He's the one that helped create that Attitude Era to bring Steve Austin where he is. So if you think that's not Vince Russo and the rest of the people there, you got another thing coming. But it was led by Vince Russo.
Yeah, but Nonsense, thank you very much. And this is what we
sir.
are trying to create here, is listening to your opinion. You listen to our opinion. We chop it up. Because I do believe, and Tommy believes this, after 45 years inside of the WWE combined, wrestling is supposed to be fun. So many people take it so serious. They act like it's real life. No, we're talking about a show. Now, it's a show, and we're passionate about it because I literally have scars in my head. I walk sometimes with a limp because I took so many bumps in my career. I spent well over 10 years, and a lot of it in the ring. it matters to me. Tommy gave 32 years of his life, promoting the shows and internationally. It matters to him. GST says, I stopped watching Raw. I'd rather get the real scoop with Tommy C and the coach in the after party.
Oh, thank you.
Can't blame him for that, Tommy.
No, I can't blame him for that. Not at all.
I can't believe that. I mean, this is where you get it at. Now, we don't just talk about Raw. We also talk about AEW. And, Tommy, I would like to start with a positive because you and I get quoted all over the place now. Everybody watches our shows. We're on Sportskeeda. We're on Yahoo. And it's always the negative quotes, Tommy. I don't want to be a negative person.
No.
I don't want people to think you're negative, Tommy.
No.
I don't want a Tommy's beef against the world.
No.
So WrestleDream last week.
Seattle.
It's at the same building, Tommy. And I don't know if I've told this story before. Remember back in the day when I ran the pre-tapes room and I had a deal with Road Dogg and X-Pac. And the deal I had with Road Dogg and X-Pac, because they like to partake in the nectar, as we like to say. And they weren't always in the mental state to be able to read things in the middle of the afternoon, let's say. And so Linda McMahon flew all the way out to Seattle to Tacoma, where they had WrestleDream, to show they had this famous pilot who had just saved a bunch of people in Japan or something like that. He was super famous. So they're walking him around the arena. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. And it just so happens, who walks around the corner? Road Dogg and X-Pac. And Linda says to me, hey, coach, go grab them real quick. I want him to meet them, the pilot. And so, not even thinking about it, I go, hey, Dog, hey, Pac, come on over here. They turn around, Tommy. Their eyes were so red, bloodshot, they could hardly even walk straight. So they come over and they're glaring at me. You could just tell they're like, "You son of a gun!" Yeah, they're ready to put a beat down on your boy. So Linda, all sweet Linda McMahon, she's like, "Hey, Mr. Smith, whatever his name was, this is two of our biggest superstars. They're part of D-Generation X, is what we call them." She's all real nice. And you can see Road Dogg and X-Pac just shaking their head. They're like, just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. And then what do you think the pilot did? He asked them a question. So then they had to talk. That was comical in itself, Tommy. The plane. Tommy, it was one of the Coach, your mic sounds really bad. Really, something. I do 6 shows a day. Hard to listen. Get it better. Well, it's something bad to you, Tommy. Maybe it's him. Yeah, I do 6 shows a day, so I think it's probably you.
Your mic sounds fine.
Okay.
Producer man, his mic is fine. He would say
Producer
something.
man, am I good? Yeah, we're good. I think it's you, big boy. I think it's you. This is my 6th show today, and nobody said anything about it except for you. User says, Coach doesn't sound bad. I can hear him clearly. Thank you very much. So Tommy, those were the backstage stories that I absolutely loved. And so when I went to get Road Dogg and X-Pac later and give them a 60-minute notice, they weren't having it. They said, not today, Coach, not today. And that was the same day, Tommy, that the WWE tried to bring back who was Scott Steiner's brother? You remember Scott Steiner's brother? Oh my gosh. Rick Steiner or
Rick.
No, I think it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. It was somebody with the brown hair. But anyway, they were trying to bring somebody back who was a complete pain in the ass. And I can't remember exactly what it was, so I don't want to say the name. But Tommy, that was a very eventful day. A very eventful day. Very eventful day. Yeah. So hilarious. So anyway, so WrestleDream is in Tacoma at the Tacoma Dome. And the positive, we'll start with the positive. Bryan Danielson made his mark, made his name in the WWE, and then he made that ridiculous statement. I could have gone to both places, but I went to AEW. Why? Because that's where the best wrestle. Oh, stop it.
Okay, whatever.
So his full-time career has come to an end. Why do they continue? And I saw people go, man, I love how nasty Jon Moxley is. I love how mean he is now. And are we going to do the plastic sack again, Tommy? Or is that what we're going to do? But if the full-time career is over, where would you rate Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson?
First of all, I don't think the full-time career is over. I mean, we've seen a million guys say they're retired and they didn't. Ric Flair, how many goodbyes did we have for Rick? Danielson can't stay away. He's just addicted to the business. I think he may take some time off, but I think he's going to come back in a big way, maybe in 4 months or something like that. So, no doubt about it, he is a great mat wrestler in the ring, one of the best storytellers in the ring. Not a bad promo. He didn't cut a bad promo at all until he got the yes movement. He really didn't pop until then. If you wanted my opinion, it took Vince everything in his power to make him champ at that New Orleans pay-per-view of WrestleMania, because I didn't think originally he was going to be the champ, and then I think he got kind of talked into it. He wasn't a bad world champ. So I would say he's in his wrestling ability alone, he's in the top 10 of wrestling. I mean, but overall character, I wasn't a big fan of it. I wasn't a big fan of him, his character, the way he carried himself sometimes. So I just never got him. I never got his gimmick, or he was not exciting to me. So, but he was a great wrestler. I'm not gonna shit on him because of that. But I think in wrestling, he's probably top 10. Everybody think he's the best. I mean, even Tony Schiavone said it.
He could work with anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. But so could Bret Hart.
I think what you're talking about, Tommy, is if you watch the reality show with his wife and the Bella twins reality show, you got to see what he was really like behind the scenes. And he was a guy that, super into organic stuff, nature, and super healthy stuff. And that doesn't translate for most wrestling fans. They want an exciting, somebody who swears, somebody who's out there all the time, somebody who's, partying all the time. That's not who he is. Not who he is. And I remember being backstage with him several times. He's a super nice guy. But what he did do, and the credit I'll give him, Tommy, is the yes movement is something that hardly ever exists in professional wrestling. To get crowds city in, city out, month in, month out, what Jey Uso is doing right now, to get fans to do something that is like that, but then get it outside of the wrestling sphere, outside of the wrestling. But, I mean, they had football games, basketball games everywhere. They were doing yes. He'll forever have that, Tommy, and that's something you can't take away from him.
No,
you can't take away from him.
No, you can't, not at all. I don't think he thought it was going to get that big, where it was in basketball arenas and college basketball and college stadiums and stuff like that. The big difference between Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso is Jey Uso's cool. He's a cool guy. You really like 100%. Him a lot. You know 100%. What I mean?
Yep. You want to buy the sunglasses. You want to buy the T-shirts. You want to buy all of that. The only thing that Daniel Bryan sold was a yes shirt. That's it. There was never more creativity. I guarantee you that Jey Uso, every day that he shows up, he's throwing ideas at the merch guys. He's always saying, give me more, give me some of this. I mean, whoever would come up with a yeet. I don't even really know what yeet means, but I'm doing it, damn it. I am doing it. I'm here for it. Shoot. User says, I appreciated the underdog story he had with the yes movement. That is very true. All right, so Tommy, that's the positive from WrestleDream. Boy, but there was a lot of negative. Oh my goodness. Let's start with, because I almost wanted to bring Jimmy Corderas on, but I didn't want to bother him. Did you see the women's match? And this is what I say all the time about hashtag levels to this game. And for everybody watching right now, Vince would always tell the referees, you referee like it's a real fight. So if something happens that it's supposed to be the finish and it's not the finish, you keep going. I go back to the Royal Rumble when Batista and Shawn Michaels screwed up the ending. Here comes Vince. You can always fix the storyline. What you can't fix is a screw up. And Tommy, I've never seen a referee with the shoulder up, take the shoulder, push it down on the mat, and then count 3. What are we doing? And I said, Corderas, what would he have done? And he says, I wouldn't have counted. It would have kept going. What did you make of that?
I think that was one of the biggest boneheaded things I've ever seen in my life, being in this business of all time. I've seen some crazy stuff, but I'd never, ever seen a ref push the person's shoulder down and then count the 1, 2, 3. In what world of this social media where everybody's going to see that and going to replay it on X and Facebook or wherever, or on Instagram, anywhere, did you not think as a ref when you were doing this that wasn't going to come out somewhere? Well, it did. And it looks ridiculous.
Tommy, they're not thinking about it. They're not thinking about it. In the moment, the referee, and I don't know him from Adam. I don't know who the hell he is, but if you're not experienced and you don't have somebody that's there that's teaching all these guys, everybody's like, oh, the referee's not important. Very important in a match. Very important in a match. And the referee needs to understand that the talent at that level, if you're talking AEW level, WWE level, they've got to be good enough that if the finish doesn't happen, they can give you another 30 or 60 seconds, do a couple more moves, and get right back into the same spot. And the referee says, hey, keep going, and then you add a little bit of time. But if you can't do that, Tommy, you're not seasoned enough to be at that level, period, whether you're the ref or the women. Do you agree?
Yep.
Disagree?
I agree. I don't know if somebody in his IFB told him to do that. Is that Tony Khan or whoever's working in their gorilla position? Because the right move would have been, you're right. Tell them to redo the move, do a couple more moves for a minute, and let's come back to this finish. Mm-hmm. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. Unless Tony Khan said, push his shoulder down, and I don't even think he would do that.
Speaking of Tony Khan, I cut all the flack from all the AEW marks with 61 followers in their Twitter handle when he posted I think it was a week ago, when Britt Baker, and by the way, she actually was sick. Remember we said on the show that she wasn't really sick? She posted a video because so many people thought he was lying. She had strep throat. She couldn't even talk.
Oh, so really?
He does the promo, and his voice gets higher and higher and higher and higher. And his shoe was untied. Nobody told him that. And it looked like a high school kid in a journalism class that was told by the teacher, okay, today's assignment, give me a 45-second promo. Sell me on something. Oh yeah. Tony, Mr. Khan, you're going to talk wrestling. Okay, that's what it felt like to me. Not a CEO who had just negotiated a $185 million deal who was in the front office of the Jacks. It did not feel like that to me.
He did the same thing at WrestleDream. With Tony Schiavone standing there, and they were doing something for Antonio Inoki. It was all off production-wise.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That was brutal. It was brutal.
The crowd didn't say shit. And then he's looking up at the Tron, and the words are not coming up. Let's try it again. Yeah, it fucked up so bad. Let's try it again. And Tony,
like half the crowd didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
I know Tony 25 years, and he's saying to himself, motherfucker, I got to do this again. And he had to do it, obviously, because his boss is standing right there. But he so deer in the headlights. He wears those big glasses and those little beady eyes. I don't know. He's just not good on camera at all. I mean, he needs to work on his PR big time.
Tommy, quit giving him compliments. Not good on camera? He's terrible on camera. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Somebody in the chat says he needs a figurehead. I said the exact same thing. If you can't talk, if you can't get in front of the camera and make it believable like you're a boss, and we all know that he literally grabs the phone, Tommy. He looks at Twitter. Okay, this guy likes me. Dave Meltzer gave that guy a 4-star match. So I think Meltzer, who we all know loves AEW, even he's jumping off the train these days. Yeah. Even he's jumping off the train. He did a thing the other day, Tommy, that he said that they should start running venues. I kid you not. Running venues that seat 2,500 people instead of these big arenas, because there's so many videos circulating because they're not even putting 3,000 people in the arena, which is exactly what I said on social media that I got crushed for. Yeah, they can have a TV deal. Hell, Tommy, somebody can pay me and you $185 million. But eventually, if nobody shows up, then you don't continue to run those shows. That's what I'm worried about. Because I want them to continue on in business. We need to have them in business, right? We don't want less wrestling.
No, we need them. It helps strengthen WWE more, and it helps AEW strengthen more as they see what WWE is doing. So competition is good. But he's got to step it up. He's got to step it up a little. So.
Speaking of stepping it up, Adam Cole made his return. And Jason says Adam Cole made his return finally. And there's a difference between MJF making his return and Adam Cole making his return. When MJF came back, we did not see him. And this is what I love about guys that get it. MJF is one of the smartest dudes in the wrestling business. And whether he's in AEW making $5 million or WWE making $5 million, the dude gets it, Tommy. And he disappeared. Guess where he was, though, during those 9 months or 10 months? His ass was camped out in the gym. Somehow Adam Cole shows up, and he weighs about 130 pounds. His arms were about the size of my finger. They decide to take the jacket off, and MJF, who's twice his size now, runs out the other way.
I know.
Why would you run from a dude who's a featherweight now? That's what Adam Cole is.
And you be that chicken shit heel. I mean, come on. What? Cole did nothing to make himself look better, but tie his hair back, and that's it.
That's
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder what some of these talent and there's a lot in WWE too. You've got to start thinking about details. You got to start thinking, all right, if I'm going to be out for 4 or 5 months, don't sit your ass at home. If you have the ability to get in shape, start pounding the weights. That equals dollars and cents. But now, instead of saying, man, Adam Cole's back, I can't wait. He's a great talent. Love him on the mic. Baby! Instead, they're like, hasn't hit the gym. Hasn't hit the gym. That's all. That's all you saw. Last thing from WrestleDream. Speaking of Tony Schiavone. And Tommy, you know I work with PFL. I'm going to be helping them out a little bit more. We're going to have some announcement here in the next month. But you've got to have post-fight press conferences. You got to give people a reason to talk, a reason to. So they have the women's champion. What's her name? Somebody in the chat help me. Mariah May. Yes. Very good-looking young lady. And she's sitting there, and Tony Schiavone apparently now is running the press conferences, Tommy.
Oh.
Yes. So he's there. He says, all right, everybody. And I would love for them to turn the camera around, just show exactly who the media is at a AEW press conference. I can only imagine.
In Tacoma.
Yeah. I don't think that wrestling123.org is sending Jimmy Smith to cover this event. So he says, all right, any questions for our champion, Mariah May? Anybody?
Crickets.
And Mariah says, you guys don't like female wrestling? No questions for the champ?
Oh,
and this is what, Tommy, not one question. Not one. And they did that for about 30 or 45 seconds.
That's bad.
It was so bad.
That's really bad.
So bad.
You know what we would have did, right?
Plant somebody.
That's what we would have did.
There. Yes. You would have had somebody there, and then hey, ask these 3 questions.
Kevin would have said, Tommy, sit down. You're not the stage manager. You're Joe Snabitz from Kayfabe Wrestling. Ask this question. And that's what I would have did.
Of course. We always had a backup plan. Always had a backup plan. Tommy, people don't realize that the very first Diva Search competition that we were in, I ran it. So I know this to be true. We went to Chicago, LA, New York, got the top 30, flew them all to New York. Tommy, do you know that we sat with Vince before the show, and he picked out the 10 that he wanted to be the final 10 before the show even started? Before they even started. Now, it didn't break any rules because it didn't. The competition didn't start till it got to the final 10. There was no rules on how we picked them. But Tommy, they went out there having no knowledge, and Vince threw out somebody because they had a mole right here. They were a Price is Right girl, and there was a mole. I kid you not. He goes, she's got to go. And we're looking around. I remember Triple H going, Vince, I think she's the best one we have. He's like, nope, I hate the mole. She's out. Tommy, on her resume, she said she dated a A-list Hollywood star. And so we go to the after party. She gets a little toasted. She's angry, obviously. So we said, who's the star that you're dating or that you dated in the past? No, I'm not going to tell you. Come on, tell us who it. No, I'm not going to tell you. So she had one more shot. She goes, all right, I'll tell you. We said, who is it? Tom Cruise? Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
We're thinking A-list. She looks and she puts her hands on her hips and she goes, Alfonso Ribeiro. We all just looked at her and we thought, is she joking right now? Is she joking? Alfonso Ribeiro. Now, he was on Silver Spoons and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That he was. Silver Spoon's very underrated, Tommy. But Price is Right girl and Alfonso, he must have had it going on back in the day. He's doing a Carlton dance.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that was our world, Tommy. But, I mean, come on. Come on. Anything else from WrestleDream before we get the hell out of here? And do not forget that we will have a brand new show Friday morning. We have the War Room. We've got a premium side if you want to join us for there. By the way, Tommy, we forgot to announce that we're going to start doing more shows during the week, during the day. There's a lot of times where people want to ask questions, so we're going to come on. It could be random. We're just going to announce it, come on for 30 minutes, answer questions, and I think it'll be fun. If you guys would like to see that in the chat, right? Yes, Coach. That's all I need to write. Yes, Coach. Right. Anything else from WrestleDream? Or I feel like we're kind of in this dead period until we get to November to get ready for Survivor Series. Yeah,
it's a little slow right now. I know they're pushing everything to Crown Jewel, and I like seeing Swerve coming back on the pay-per-view. I'm a big fan of his, and looks like it's going to be him and the Prince guy going against MVP and Shelton. There's going to be some heat there, so I'm waiting for Lashley to show up, and I think he will show up in the near future.
Well, Tommy, I may or may not have a little bit of inside information. I may have talked to somebody. I'm not saying about him coming back there, but this is the reason we say, people say, oh, you hate AEW. Shelton Benjamin was one of my best friends for years and years and years. MVP. I love that dude. I want them to have a place to make a living. Why would we not want that? But I want good shows too. I want good creative, and they want that too. They want that too. So one final reminder, producer man, I need the giveaway up on the screen one more time. If you guys are gamers, we're giving away 2 copies of the brand new boxing video game, Undisputed. The QR code is there. It will cost you nothing. There are certain rules. We want you to spread the word of the show. That's it. And if you guys have a really big reaction to this, we may give more away on Thursday on the Coach and Bro show as well. So that is what we're doing. So also the link is there in the chat right there at the bottom. Also, if you guys want to win a new copy of Undisputed, the boxing video game, and our boy Todd Grisham is the voice. All right, Tommy, 15, 20 seconds, your final thoughts before we get the hell out of Dodge and get ready to tape the War Room, and also our reaction to The Rock saying, don't believe all that bullshit. I may be at WrestleMania 41. Do we believe him? We drop at 11 a.m., 10 to 15 minutes on Friday. Your final take tonight, sir.
Hopefully next week's Raw, I think, is in Detroit. It's going to be live, and I hope it moves a lot better than this week's Raw, because you could tell that show was taped.
Always a positive finish for Big Tommy C.
They must hate me. Oh,
that's okay. I mean, you're kind of a curmudgeon. You know, they like that. You're like, you know, their favorite, negative uncle is who Big Tommy C is a little bit. Yeah. Charlie says, thank you, Tommy. Robbie says, great show. See you guys in the morning, Coach. Robbie is also an OG on Driving the Line. So they support us everywhere, and it means the world to us because we continue to grow. And Tommy, in the next probably 4 weeks, we're going to be on a much bigger platform as well. I'm still working out the details, but we will be think a lot bigger. Think DTL. If you guys watch DTL, think DTL and BTT. Just a little tease out there. Yep. All right, that's going to do it for now. For Producer Man, for Big Tommy C, I will see you later in the week. Subscribe to our page. Turn on your notifications. We got a ton of content. This has been The Last Word. We'll see you live here next Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, right after Raw. Until then, be safe. See you later. Be good.
Has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus. New pod order.